stretch. All right. Hello, everybody. Coach Luis here, health fitness specialist with Exos at Autodesk. Beautiful day to break away from the desk and get some stretching and some movement in. Now, before we get started, if you guys have anything that you feel needs a little bit of extra love or a little bit extra stretching or an area that just kind of feels tight or feels like it needs some work, go ahead and drop it in the chat. We're always open to suggestions here, guys, and I definitely want to do stuff that is going to make you specifically feel better, not just necessarily a bunch of random stuff that typically makes most people feel better. So I have a plan for today. Going to address a lot of areas of the body, but if you guys have anything specific, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm not seeing anything as of right now, but if you guys get inspired as we go along, we can always do that. Lower back, yes. Let me add that. Something's more specific to the routine here. Hey there, Jazzy. All right, so adding something for the low back. All right, you guys, so we're gonna hit that at the end. What we're gonna start here though, or what we're gonna start off with here today, guys, is hip flexor stretch. So let's find a spot on the ground. We're gonna have one knee down on the ground here today. So you can feel free to grab a pillow or something that will make this stance comfortable for you. With one knee down on the ground and then one foot out in front to support. We're gonna start by engaging that back glute. So I got my left knee down on the ground. That left glute is gonna squeeze. This is gonna tilt our pelvis back. From here, we're gonna pull the belly button in towards the spine, and then we can start to push the hips forward a little bit, trying to find some tension. Keeping that glute squeezed, we're just looking for some tension here in the front of that hip. And so as we go, we wanna maintain that breathing. We wanna try and breathe specifically into the front of that hip. So let that midsection and that belly expand. We want to feel some increase in tension as we inhale, and then maybe a decrease in tension as we exhale. Keep that glute squeezed. We got a couple more breaths. Well done. One more. Good. And after that last exhale, we can bring ourselves back, shift the weight back, relax everything. We're going to do the same thing other side now. So I got my right knee down on the ground. My right glute is going to check in, squeeze super hard, tilting the pelvis back a little bit. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. We got the core engaged. And from here, we can begin to push the hips forward a little bit. Again, looking for some tension in the front of that right hip. Focus on that breathing in this position. Breathing into that tension, trying to increase that tension with our inhale. Feeling a decrease with the exhale. We're still keeping that glute squeezed. Give it a little tap if you feel it relaxing a little bit. We're gonna do one more breath. There we go, well done. Let's shift that weight back here, you guys. And from here, we're gonna come down onto hands and knees on the ground for our next one. We're gonna get at specifically the inside of the hip here a little bit. So we're down on hands and knees. What we wanna do is spread those knees apart so we can begin to let those legs rotate. And now I have both my feet pointed out and away with the arches pressed against the ground. And with this wide knee stance, you can either stay up on your hands or you can come down to the elbows here to make the spine a little straighter. And what we're gonna do is just rock back and forth. So with the core tight, the knees planted where they're at, we can rock our hips back, feel that tension on the inside of the hips, and then rock forward back out of it. So we don't have to hang out there for too long. Breathe as we go. Try and link up those exhales with that shifting back into the tension. Good, you guys. And we want to stay comfortable here. We're trying to push the hip joint just a little bit, but we really don't want it to come to a point to where it's painful or it's really uncomfortable for the hips or any other part of the body. So be careful, be nice to yourself here today. We're just taking it easy, exploring what we got. And breathing while we do it. Good job, you guys. As we go on, you might feel a little more room clearing up in that hip joint. Feel free to push it a little bit more as long as it's comfortable and as long as we can maintain this form with our feet on the ground, the inside of our feet on the ground like this. Let's do a couple more here. Good. All right, last one coming up here. We're going to hold it for a little bit longer. Let's get into it. Breathe, hold, and then let's slowly release. Well done, well done. All right, bring yourself back up to your hands. From here, we can slowly put a lot of weight into those hands and slide those knees back in towards each other bit by bit. Next up, we're going to address the spine and get some rotation in here. I'm going to bring my camera angle down, but we are going to be lying down on our sides here, you guys. So find your space, take a moment, grab anything if you want to support your head, a yoga block, a pillow, a pad. All of these are great options, or you can let the head hang in the air or hang out on the ground. All right, so starting position here, we want the knees stacked up on top of each other, up at hip level. As we move, guys, our lower half is going to stay really solid, planted like a tree. We don't want to feel any movement between these knees or the knees coming up off the ground, really. So let's keep that in mind as we go. Arms are going to start stretched out in front. That top arm is going to move, and we're going to open up kind of like a big book, watching that moving hand all the way. So I'm turning my head to look past the thumb, slowly opening up as far as I possibly can. And comfortably, I'm going to take a breath in this outstretched position and then watch my hand all the way back as we close that book. First one's always going to feel stiff. Let's keep going. We're going to do a few more and then switch. We want to keep breathing here, guys. Keep looking past that thumb. Shoulder might be able to go a little bit further than your neck can turn, and that's all right. Just do the best you can and push to that comfortable limit. Good job, you guys. Good job. It's okay to pause and hang out in that outstretched position for a second or two with a breath, and then bring it back in. Wherever you're at, let's make this next one the last one that we're going to do. We're opening up. We're starting to feel a little bit looser. We're going to pause in this outstretched position. Let's take one big deep breath. Full inhale and exhale. That exhale is going to help our body stretch a little bit further, and then we're bringing it back, closing it all the way up. Well done. All right, you guys can flip on over to the other side. I'm going to turn myself around so you can see what I'm working with here in front. Once again, we're going to do the same thing other side now. So just like before, the knees are up around hip level. Whole lower half is going to stay planted like a tree. Once we're in our comfortable spot, stretch those arms out in front, and we're going to do the same thing. So let's open up. Watch that hand as we go. Breathe. Find that spot. And then we're bringing it all the way back in. All right, a few more to go here. We're taking it nice and slow. You guys can move at your own pace. Good job, guys. Good job. It's a great way to get some nice passive twisting in here. This is a motion that we often do not spontaneously do throughout the day. So it's good to always Address that rotation, especially in the spine. You definitely don't want to wake up one day and not be able to rotate. That is not good. Guys, last one, wherever you're at. Next one is our last. Keep watching that hand. Keep looking past that thumb. It's easy to get distracted or sidetracked and not look past that thumb. Let's continue to keep that neck involved. We're closing the book one last time. Good job, you guys. Good job. All right, so we're gonna stay on the ground here, guys. For our next one, we're just gonna turn over onto our backs. So lying supine or on our backs here, we're gonna go ahead and address the tissue on the back side of the body, running from the calf to the hamstring to the low back. So let's go ahead and kick one leg out up into the air. We're gonna take our hands, interlace those fingers back here on the hamstrings, and now we can use our arms to hold our leg up here. So my leg is just dead weight here in my arms. You'll notice that I'm slightly bent at the knee. From here, we're going to move from the ankle. So let's point those toes all the way up towards the ceiling. Might feel a little stretch here, but we're gonna try and bring that heel up high next. And this is where we're gonna really feel the tension. So we should be feeling it calf, hamstring, low back, all the above, maybe just one of those. The point is, and let's start to go back and forth here now with that ankle. So toes up for a second or two, then heel up for a second or two. We're just going back, we're flossing. What we want to do here is loosen up some of the tissue on the posterior chain. So if the calves can get a little bit more mobile and the hamstrings will have a little bit more slack, which gives the low back a little bit more slack, and so on and so forth. And I like this one a lot because we are doing a little bit of nerve flossing. We're just kind of taking the end of that nerve, pulling it tight, and then giving it some slack. Great way to prevent any type of nerve compression happening at any point along the line. Let's keep going with that ankle back and forth here, you guys. All right, final one. Let's bring that heel up. Hang out there for a second, and then we can let that knee bend and bring that foot back to the ground. All right, same deal, other side now. Let's bring that opposite leg up. We'll interlace those fingers on the hamstring, support that leg here with our arms slightly bent at the knee. We can start to move at that ankle. So toes up, heels up, back and forth here. You might notice that one side's a little bit different than the other. You might have to pull the leg in for the desired tension. Maybe bend the knee a little bit more or a little bit less. All depends on where you're at here today. Just going back and forth. Breathing as we go. Don't make it too hard on yourselves, guys. Like I said earlier, we want to be nice to ourselves, nice to our bodies here today. Let's do a few more and then we'll finish up. Good. All right, heel up one more time. Let's hold it, hold it, hold it, and then we can bend that knee, bring the leg back down. Nicely done. All right, you guys, turn over onto your sides. You guys can come up to sitting, kneeling, or standing. That is all the time I have left for this stretch break, unfortunately. Once again, Coach Luis signing off here. If you guys are looking for all the other things that have to do with Exos, like the events, resources, services, you can find that all on our SharePoint site, which can be easily found by going to Autodesk One and then typing in Exos at Autodesk in the search bar. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time.